Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max.
Welcome, everyone. We are the Geek Patrol, and our microphones don't have a stun setting. I'm Joe Thorderson, here with my friend Brandon Olmstead and our buddy Max over there behind the glass. And
Whoa. He's not behind the glass today. He's a full-on correspondent.
I'm letting Joe take the reins for right now just to see how he does and possibly criticize him later.
Well, we have, okay, just if you want to throw, 2 seconds in, you want to peek behind the curtain.
Look.
We've built our own Geek Tank studio. It's for mobile situations, let's just say.
I can get behind that.
It's essentially
so it
like
may
those
sound different.
It's essentially like those giant backpacks that soldiers would wear during World War II for radio operators.
And that's also Max's way of saying, "Hey, I didn't produce this, so if it's not up to his standards." But
I finally got YouTube comments that actually got to talk about us in the positive, but that may just be because I'm putting them up instead of certain other people.
Okay. Well, anyway, I mean, the content's going to be the same. But hey, Brandon, couple things. We a couple weeks ago we were going over your list of summer movies, and we were all commenting how the summer movie theater experience may be back, and you chipped away at one of them. So later in the show, we're gonna hear about He-Man.
Does it have the power?
Totally has the power.
But before that, there's something pretty cool that all of us are watching. That it's you don't have to get out of the house for it. It's cool.
I have to ask, are you doing black and white or are you doing true hue?
Black and white.
I mean, what do you think? Come on.
Hey, I started it with black and white, and I rewatched the first episode in true hue, and I think that's how I'm going to finish it off.
Okay.
It reminds me of the old Turner classic movies with the noir spin.
Yeah.
It feels very. I mean, it's definitely a little pretentious.
So a little,
it's a little out there, but it feels really good watching it like that.
Well, we're talking about Spider-Noir over on Prime.
What I was thinking is I wonder if it would be good to rewatch the whole series in the alternate thing that you did, because it's like if you started off in black and white, like how black and white like shows back in the day, it's like, oh, this looks gray, but if you look at it in color, it's actually bright pink.
Right.
Oh, like the Dick Van Dyke Show. Or
Yeah.
something. Yeah, like if you saw pictures of the actual set, it looks weird.
Have you ever seen the actual set for the Munsters? It's all pastels.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? Because I guess on TV it plays a certain way. So, but I like the black and white. I don't want to watch it in color till maybe I've finished. But Max and I are on episode. We only got one episode left.
I'm gonna make a bold declaration here, and I've told you all this off the air, but I think this might be my favorite Spider-Man of any Spider-Man that I've seen before.
I can't really disagree.
That's valid.
It's good. I mean, folks, it's worth seeing.
What I like I like the idea of Nicolas Cage for this role because he's an older Spider-Man. It kind of makes me think of if Peter Parker outgrew his naivete and he had to become a little bit more feral and streetwise. So his D&D alignment is a little bit more obscure than just true good.
I can get behind that, especially seeing as how he has experienced tragedy after having become the Spider, and now he's kind of like, I don't want to do that again, but he ends up having to do that again.
There's a comic for this, right, Brandon?
Oh yeah, yes.
Have you read it?
Spider-Man Noir. It originally came out. It's been a long time since it came out because I was still regularly buying comics when it came out, and now it's like I'll pick up a trade here and there. But that was like way past. I don't even think I was married yet when Spider-Noir came out.
I wonder how well
20
written
years.
It's a cool idea, though. I mean, is it supposed to be some alternate universe thing, or is it just can we just enjoy it for what it is? Or
well, yeah, you can. I mean, you don't have to have any real connection. You don't have to have any explanation behind it. They were doing a bunch of different Spider-Man. It was this basically the Spider-Verse's, the proto Spider-Verse. It was around the same time you got the punk rock Spider-Man, and you got the Spider-Man from India, and things like that. So it was just another one-off, and it's the one that kind of got everybody's attention.
Yeah,
he doesn't wear a hat in the comic though.
Yeah, I don't know how
that was something that they added in I believe, in during Into the Spider-Verse, which was the animated movie.
That's what I was saying. That's the only time I ever really remember them is when Miles Morales was traveling through the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. It's the only time that he. I mean, that's where the origination of the hat, and of course, we had Nick Cage doing the voice then too.
Wait, he did?
Yeah, he did. He does the
I
voice in
didn't
the
know that.
cartoon. Yeah.
Okay, well, so we don't want to give too many spoilers, but Brandon, we can at least talk about the first episode.
We can totally talk about the first episode.
What is her name? Cat
Hardy.
Cat Hardy, who is of course supposed to be Black Cat. It's Felicia Hardy. It's her counterpoint in the noir universe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I knew she was I didn't know which character that was.
How about Robbie Robinson?
Well, he's always been the associate editor at the Daily Bugle. He's Jonah's right-hand man.
See, that's what I wonder.
Yeah.
Is he in this? Is he supposed to be like his grandfather or something?
No, because all of this is straight up. These characters are the same. They're just in the noir universe. They are the counterparts. They are the exact same characters. In the comic, it's Peter Parker. It's not Ben Reilly.
Okay, that's what I wondered.
They changed it to Ben Reilly for the for the series because they're also kind of keeping away because it's Peter Parker Spider-Noir in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Right.
So to differentiate, they went with Ben Reilly instead because he's going to do some stuff that Peter's not going to do.
Again, he's more feral.
Right.
Well, the first thing the first thing I noticed is how awesome the sets look, the costumes, and the music and the lighting, everything. It looks like they stepped up their game.
It looks like it also has elements that show that it is of its time without getting too preachy, which I appreciate because it shows that era wasn't necessarily the most squeaky clean. Let's just say
It's true.
Right.
It's true. And I mean, there's a few things that, there's been criticism online about. It's like, well, back in the actual, it's like you were trying to equate logic and history to a man who can swing on webs and has a spider sense that tells you that something's coming at him. Stop trying to put the logic in there. I mean, but it does. It lends itself so well.
Well,
set wise and everything else, it captures the atmosphere.
Yeah, they've done a great job, and so we're gonna talk about some of it without giving too many spoilers. But Brandon, on a larger question, this is a Sony product,
yeah.
And how the heck did they pull this off?
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, well, we're singing the praises of Spider-Noir.
We're not singing because we don't hate our audience.
Okay, but Brandon, you're only one episode in, but
right.
but you're familiar with the comic. Max and I only have one episode to go. This isn't a spoiler. I'll just tell you, it does not disappoint. As long as this thing closes better than Daredevil, Born Again did,
well,
it's going to be a great season. I hope there'll be more of them too.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. That's a good question. I don't know what is up with Amazon and their announcement. They usually announce a second season of something before
I thought
it even
you would have
drops.
been in the know with that.
Well, no. Hey, I can tell you that Reacher season 5's coming about, and they haven't even finished season 4. But
okay,
I haven't heard anything else on this yet.
I'd personally be fine if it was only one season.
I'm good either way as long as it's well done. Just like Andor, 2 seasons, drop the mic and it's done. But Max, one thing we were saying, the production is great, but you also pointed out that there's some pretty what are these deep cuts from history or something? Or
I've been using the term love letter these days because Brandon, what I was saying about this is going to be a bit of an aside, but what I said I love about Trigun Stampede and Stargaze is that it's a love letter to all the anime that came back in the day from the 90s, from the little things that only fans that saw like Evangelion or Cowboy Bebop would know. And so I kind of see this as sort of a love letter to the noir era because one of the central themes that's occurring throughout this show pretty much seems like the same as Casablanca because
really?
Because Nicolas Cage looks like Humphrey Bogart. Kat Hardy kind of has Ingrid Bergman vibes in terms of her aesthetic and dress. And then not only that, too, but the way that this is sort of a minor spoiler, but the love triangle that exists in Spider-Noir is very akin to the love triangle that occurred in Casablanca when Beauregard's character had to make the noble decision, even if because he was like, the concerns of two people in this world is not worth a hill of beans and everything. And so it's very evoking that. I won't say how to avoid spoilers, but just if you've seen Casablanca, look out for elements of that in Spider-Noir.
Huh. Because I think I've only seen that movie once, but
No, well, I mean, I can, I can actually see everything that Max is saying without having seen the episodes, and yeah, that falls in just like that's classic pulp storytelling. So
yeah,
I can't wait to see it now.
And the theatrical dialogue, the choice of words, and everything, I love it because it's like. It again goes back to Casablanca. I think one of the scenes that you would have loved, Joe, was when the French policeman is raiding Beauregard's place. He's like, there was gambling going on here. I'm shocked. And the guy was like, you're winning, sir. It's like we get that sort of like witty rapport in this and everything. Like everyone is just so well written in this show and everything. There's really no weak character.
I was just thinking the same thing because one of the things I love about like shows like Andor and then now Spider-Noir is there's nobody wasted. Like even little incidental characters like the little street pickpocket kid.
Yeah,
everybody in there is fleshed out. Like know every character.
Yeah, you're not going to get a character, and I mean you'll notice this in a lot of old detective movies too. Any character that has a speaking role, even if it's just they are spoken to, eventually is going to come back and play a role in the story.
Yeah.
And just from that first episode, you can see that it's like, they're laying the groundwork, planting the seeds. It's like, all right, you've got two different kids who are selling newspapers. One of them is going to be very, very important. The one who only talks to the camera basically is going to be your, detached narrator.
Right.
Offset. I was not expecting to see Sandman that early on.
Right. First episode, right?
Yeah. And it's like, and to go
the way they did him was interesting.
To go from that moment though, where you were watching everything and you're kind of getting pulled into the 1930s aesthetic and the vibe, and then to see the sand start to fall off his face after the fight, and you're just like watching the graphics shift.
Yeah.
And again, it looks really cool in the black and white, but it's downright creepy how realistic it looks in the true hue.
I might try that, but
would you?
Well, I say get through it.
I want to get through it
like
all
you're
in black
doing, and then
white.
check it out.
And I like the fact that they're addressing superpowers to people that just look like people.
Yeah.
They're just average Joes and everything. Like that guy's just a basic Italiano and everything. Just Flint like I'm the bodyguard, or
right.
Ben the private investigator. And I like the fact that they're using terms from back in the day and everything to make it sound sort of genuine. And then not only that too, but even the fact that they're trying to make the aesthetics of it look like it was back in the day, like pulp horror and everything, like the weird monster movies with like the brilliant plastic, like costumes designs and everything.
Right,
and camera angles. They're mimicking a lot of those old camera angles.
The angles that you used to use in order to make to evoke emotion. So you were jumping to the conclusions without actually having seen the thing.
Right.
I don't know if they pull it off so much in this because again, I'm still relatively early on. But one of my favorite things about movies back in the day was when they would use the lightning strikes and the silhouettes to basically stage a murder.
Oh,
and everything.
Like a big flash.
Right. And it's just, even if they don't do that here, it still has the camera angles and the quick saves and everything else that make you feel, it builds the tension in you. Which a lot of modern day movies just don't seem to do it because, if you've got someone getting attacked, it's like all of a sudden, okay, boom, they're fighting. There's no tension.
I have a question when we come back in terms of like Silvermane as an antagonist, because it seems kind of trite and repeated that, the enemy is a mobster and everything. How do you think they are making it a little bit more fresh and original?
Well, at least that's a good point, Max, because he's sort of likable. Like if you worked for him, you'd probably like him or at least feel a loyalty. Like it seems like with Kingpin, he started to become one-dimensional. Like, okay, you're just pure evil, and why was anybody following you? It's like so maybe that's even it too, because Even the antagonist is really good in here. But Brandon, I can't wait for you to see Electro, though. You're not.
I'm not prepared, am I?
Yeah, I'm going to guess by the
anything.
end it's going to be Max's favorite character.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, well, we're talking about Spider-Noir. And I would say, Brandon, you don't even have to be a superhero fan to enjoy this. Even if you're just if you know just a little bit about Spider-Man and maybe some of his villains, and even if you don't, honestly, anybody could enjoy this. I mean, you know.
Okay, I'll bite at that with a little bit of argumentative.
Okay.
There are some people I know who are triggered by Nicolas Cage.
Why?
Okay.
I don't know.
Why do we get? Okay. Well, I wonder why.
It doesn't make any sense to me. He's great in whatever he's in my personal opinion. You know, but there's
It's
some
probably
people who
our
just,
fault, Brandon, because how many times have we said Nicolas Cage plays Nicolas Cage doing what? Like being an accountant or being a whatever.
Hey,
but-
they could have made his name Nick C instead of Ben Reilly, and I totally could have been the same character, because I just think that this just genuinely lives inside of Nick Cage. But there's another dimension that he pulls off in this one that if Nicolas Cage has always been a little iffy in your playbook when it comes to great, phenomenal actors, because he is one. Give this a shot anyway. You'll have a whole new appreciation for him, and that's just from me seeing the first episode.
And this is one of the few instances where it doesn't feel like he's just playing himself.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like he's playing again.
Feels like he cares.
Yeah, he feels like he cares. He seems like he's one of the few people who could actually pull off this role.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But Brandon, here's the big mystery for me, because let's just be honest. Sony has brought us Kraven the Hunter, Morbius, whatever. I mean,
Spider-Woman.
Think of just
Venom.
all these really horrible movies.
Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage.
I thought you liked Venom
3,
the first. Whatever.
Venom 3, The Last Dance.
But this is a tight movie. It's well written. It looks beautiful. It's great acting. The characters are awesome. So how is Sony?
I'm gonna throw this out there, and this is gonna be a shot. Sony may hate me for this, but I don't care, because what are they gonna do? What are they gonna do to me?
Hey, we talk truth here.
Sony taking beef with me is just gonna up my popularity. If there is another studio that is basically playing oversight because they hold the purse strings, Sony can make amazing movies.
Okay, but
when
what
Sony,
do you mean by oversight?
When Sony is producing a movie on their own and they have carte blanche to do whatever, that's when things start to go off the rails. All right, so
is there too many suits saying, okay, don't forget to include this or cut that part out?
No. This is one of those situations where I'm going to say corporate is saving the world.
No. I'm saying in their movies that bomb, is it because too many people are getting involved in the creative process?
No, it's because somebody at Sony goes, all right, we've got access to all these characters. Let's do these great Spider-Man universe movies. Oh, don't connect them to Spider-Man. Think about it.
Well, that's true. Craven didn't even mention it. Right?
Sony did the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Sony did the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Sony finally hit with Spider-Man when Marvel actually got involved with Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, and what looks like the upcoming Brand New Day. They're cohesive. They're a little loose compared to some other Marvel films, but they're pretty tight. Into the Spider-Verse, which was being run by Sony Animation and less Sony Studios, is tighter in the first one. The second one gets a little out there, and as of right now, they haven't even completed the third one, and it's going on years at this point.
Yeah. Okay.
Sony trying to create a world with Morbius and Kraven the Hunter and Spider-Woman without truly connecting any of it to Spider-Man is where they failed, because they were able to do it with Venom. They thought they could do it with these other characters who their only real appeal is as Spider-Man villains. I mean, Morbius eventually became his own character, but he started as a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
Kraven, Spider-Man villain. Spider-Woman, not Spider-Woman, but Madam Web. She was an Oracle type character who was, her stuff all had to do with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think that these characters only really work in connection to the universe and the hero that opposes them. However, Joe, a contrary point to this, you like the Joker movies, and that's a completely standalone
movie.
instant.
The second one's awful. Yeah.
Movie. So what is it about whatever production studio did the Joker movie that you appreciate, to where Joker could be a standalone villain in this without needing Batman, whereas Sony fails where they try to focus on an antagonist absent a Spider-Man?
Oh, I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I have an answer for that.
Yeah.
The Joker, as much as we all love the first Joker movie, it's not an action movie. It is a character study. It's a piece that
It's a horror movie. It's everything.
He may or may not be the Joker throughout that movie. We don't know how much of it was going on in his head, how much actually happened. We're watching a tragedy, a dramatic tragedy. Meanwhile, Craven is an action movie. Morbius is an action movie. They didn't even lean into the horror with that. They're trying to make a superhero movie without the superhero that is central to these characters. But if you do a character piece, if you were doing a character piece on Craven and did it very dramatic and not,
It could have been awesome.
it could have been awesome.
Kind of makes me think of the promise that Clayface has, because it looks horrifying.
Oh God, it
Ooh,
looks
now
so good.
Clayface could be good. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. It's like
But
anything could be good if you write it well.
Yeah.
You could write a story about a janitor, and if it's good,
Yeah.
I mean,
And I think the problem is that Sony didn't look at these characters as what they could have been. They wanted to put them into a cookie cutter, superhero movie and let it flow, and it doesn't work. Amazon pulling the purse strings on Spider-Noir and Nicolas Cage being a huge fan of comic books in general, I think has held Spider-Noir to a higher standard.
well,
and I
everybody's
think-
bringing their
and I-
A game. I
and
mean, Brendan Fraser, everybody.
I genuinely think that we're seeing that same style in the James Gunn DC shows. Like, I'm not feeling Lanterns, but I'm all about Clayface.
Yeah, the Clayface looks good. So, well, it's folks, get out there for sure. Spider-Noir is really good. It's worth even an Amazon subscription, I would say. So,
You
but,
can get it all done in your free trial.
but when we come back, we're going to find out if it was worth the money that Brandon spent when he went and saw He-Man.
You're listening to Geek Tank Radio on 98.1 The Max. The Geek Patrol is back.
And welcome back to Geek Tank Radio, everybody. I'm Joe Thorderson here with my buddy Brandon Olmstead and our pal Max over there behind the glass. And if you're just tuning in, we're highly recommending Spider-Noir. We didn't really even give any spoilers, but every single character on there is interesting. The production's great, and the music's awesome. I like the theme music from the intro, Brandon. I like to sit there and
Just kinda chill.
yeah, but let's shift gears. You went and saw He-Man. You went and saw Masters of the Universe.
I don't know what this He-Man thing is you're talking about.
Well, are you giving spoilers here?
Oh, absolutely. It's not making enough money at the box office right now. So, hey, guys, if I ruin it for you, why didn't you go see it?
Okay. Does anything make money? I mean, Hail Mary.
Apparently, Scary Movie did almost twice the budget of He-Man or twice the box office of He-Man.
Yeah.
It came in number one. But I mean, there's a fascination when it comes to the idea of saying something that was basically pushing the boundaries 25 years ago, and to see what's going to happen. I haven't heard anybody say anything bad about Scary Movie, but I opted to go see Masters of the Universe because I have a 40-year nostalgia with that property.
Yeah,
and
you actually grew up caring about He-Man.
Well, when I was of the right age when He-Man hit,
right.
And I remember going to Toys by Roy in the Galleria Mall in Houston, Texas, and seeing these things on the shelves, and my parents getting them for me. I couldn't decide on what I wanted, and we ended up with everything.
I don't want to sidetrack, and I don't want you to go on a tangent, but could this be the birth of your of what made you a wrestling fan? Because those action figures were kind of looked like wrestlers.
I mean, it might have had a little bit to do with it, but I remember watching things like, Memphis wrestling, NWA wrestling, and stuff like that when I was in my formative years.
Okay.
It was something, I watched with my dad. It was something it's like I kind of remember my granddad Joe watching it with me sometimes. And the moment that I saw Ric Flair walk out with his big gold belt as a little kid, I decided I want one of those.
Okay. I didn't mean to.
No, I know, but I know you didn't mean to get on the tangent. But it's like, I think maybe that the He-Man type toys also kind of lent to that because they were on the same scale figure as the LGN, wrestling figures. So maybe it might have had a lot to do with it. But,
okay.
As far as whether I got my money's worth in seeing this movie, yes, I will absolutely say I got my money's worth and then some.
Let me address the elephant in the room, Brandon.
Okay.
How did Skeletor do?
Dude, Skeletor was amazing.
Okay.
Jared Leto, for all his qualms and scandals and lack of being a good human, he's a dang good actor, and he pulled off Skeletor perfectly. But you can tell he's channeling Tim Curry and a little bit of the Filmation character. He only does the voice. There's somebody else doing the mocap stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But his exasperation, his very cartoon based barbs and quips and frustration and everything about Skeletor in that movie is perfect.
Oh, cool. Okay.
There is, and again, I said I'll give spoilers. There's a moment where he's kind of in Adam's head, and they're seeing things that Adam's been dealing with in the real world or Earth, really, and Skeletor at one point, Adam's at the gym and Skeletor's there, and he's like in a purple sleeveless hoodie, and he's got a chain around his neck that looks like a Nike symbol, but it's just, and he's mocking Adam and his connection to Earth throughout that whole thing, and it's just okay. They're getting the ludicrousness of Skeletor down, but the ruthlessness is there as well.
We're going to get a cosplay of that version of Skeletor.
At least 70.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's one where he's like in work attire, like the button-up shirt and everything, and it's like
That reminds me of when Loki showed up in Thor wearing like a business suit.
It's very reminiscent.
Okay.
The movie is corny as hell. It is goofy as all get out because it is basically a live-action version of the old cartoon. It feels perfect as far as the nostalgia bait goes. If you can get past this whole, well, this didn't make sense, and what are you talking about? They did. If you can get past what I refer to as the internet movie rabbit holes, if you stay out of that trap and you can just go in there and enjoy something for being unabashedly what it's supposed to be,
right,
you'll be fine.
Who was the biggest surprise when it came to characters?
Oh,
I mean, yeah, Idris Elba.
Idris Elba did great as Duncan, but the biggest surprise as far as characters go, that's something I don't really want to spoil. But Cringer's perfect. There's a moment.
Cringer?
Cringer is his green tiger.
Oh, okay.
The one who becomes Battle Cat. Because his name is Cringer because he's a coward. And you see him for the first time as a cub.
Battle
Cat. And of course he talks. So it's like Adam's trying to get out of going to arms training in the beginning of it, and he's like, well, I could study diplomacy and I could play with Cringer, and Cringer just goes, just give me a ball of yarn and I'm good. You don't have to worry about me. He's like, you're not helping. I mean, and when we don't see him again for like most of the movie,
right? And
then when they finally bring him back, it's like, oh, and then he has the absolute perfect attitude. In relation to his original animated counterpart.
Now that's cool to give him a backstory. No. I mean, you don't always get an animal's backstory like that.
We also get a chance to find out why these characters have such ridiculous names. Those are not.
So they're finally explaining.
Those aren't their names. Those are the names that Kid Adam gave them because he gave them names based on what their abilities were.
Okay, now see, I can get behind that.
Yeah.
Because I've always thought, I've said He-Man's the dumbest name I've ever heard.
Right, and Adam gave
Skeletor, that sounds like a name a kid would come up with.
Adam gave himself that name. It's not like, there was some ancient text that would say, he who wields the power sword shall be known as He-Man. Adam gave himself that name as an 8-year-old kid.
Okay. All right. So how many stars would you give this one? Out of 5.
For cinema in general, I will give it a 3.5.
Okay.
For nostalgia and just nailing the part, it's a 5.
Okay, awesome. All right, there you go. You guys, the show's over. We got to go. So until next week, we are the Geek Patrol, and I am Joe Thorderson.
I'm Maximilian.
And I'm Brandon Olmsted, letting you know if you don't go see Masters of the Universe, we can't get She-Ra.